Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed util package like a calendar class and a random numbers scanner class. We discussed. So in this class, I will talk about generic concept. So here, generic is an element. Generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. So here generic is an element whose data type could be mentioned at the time of creating object of the class. Generally, so any data type, so suppose we have to develop one program, so we can define a number of variables. Variable can be defined with the help of data type. Suppose int a, float b, and so on. So here generic is an element whose data type could be mentioned by the end user at the time of creating object of the class. It is known as generic. So a class can have multiple generics. A class can have multiple generics. So here syntax. What is the syntax of creating object of generic class? So here class name. So here class name. So next one here. So here less than and a greater than. So whenever user explicitly declares, so with the help of less than and greater than, we can declare one data type. So whenever Java compiler finds this statement, so it blindly creates a generic class. It blindly creates a generic class. Next one actually object creation, class name. Next one reference variable, new class name. So here also we can so define data type. So here whenever this data type explicitly finds, compiler always creates generic type. Compiler always creates generic type. Next one constructor. Actually whenever object of the class is created, constructors are automatically invoked, constructors are automatically created. So whenever we can explicitly mention this one, so it blindly creates a generic type. It blindly creates a generic type. So here, so I will explain with respect to the program, then you can easily understand so what is generic. So here, example. So here I am defining one class G demo 1, class G demo 1. So here T. So here T is what data type. Here T is what data type. So at the time of declaration stage, we can't specify the data type. Whenever we can creating object of the class, then only we can specify the data type only. So whenever Java compiler explicitly finds this one, so it creates a generic type. It creates a generic type. It creates a generic type. Next, after that, generally in a class contains variables, methods, and constructors. So suppose in order to accessing the methods and constructors of the class, first we have to create object of the class. Then only we can accessing what are the variables, methods, and constructors available in particular class. So whenever object of the class is created, constructors are automatically invoked. We need not explicitly create a constructor. Whenever object of the class is created, then only constructors are automatically invoked. Because constructor name same as the class name, actually you know that this concept. Here I am defining one variable x1. So x1 is which type of variable? It is generic type. It is generic type. Here T means just we have to define one temporary data type. Just we have to define one temporary data type, that is T. So at the time of compile time, we can specify any data type like string, integer, float, double, or any other data types. So here x1 is the variable name. In this one, x1 is the variable name. x1 is variable name. T is data type. T is data type. It is a temporary data type. Next, after that, we can close this one. So next one, class generic demo. Next, I am taking one more class generic demo. So in this one, what is our class name? Generic demo. Next one, main method. Already you know that main method have three keywords: publish, static void, string, box array. After that, I am creating object of the class. After that, I am creating object of the class. What is generic? Generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the end user at the time of creating object of the class. At the time of creating object of the class. Here I am creating object of the class. What is our class? G demo 1. So here this T is data type. Here what is the data type? String. Generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user. So whose data type would be mentioned by the user. So it is which type of data type? String data type. String, in, float, as your wish, as you can specify any other data type. So next one, so difference variable D1, new G demo 1. Next one, it is also a data type. Next one, these braces means constructor. So here generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. So here whenever I am creating object of the class, so I can mention the data type. I can mention the data type. So by default initially the Initially T means data type. So at the time of compile type, you can specify data type. You can specify the data type. For example, in the previous programs, so just we have to define one data type. Suppose int x1. So int x1. So for example, I am defining a variable x1. So it is integer type. So at the time of compile time or at the time of runtime, we can give only integer type values. We can give only integer type values. In these statements, only at a time only integer type is possible. Suppose at the time of compilation or runtime, so we can give some float values and double values. It leads an compilation error. It leads an compilation error. But generic have that kind of so this concept here, generic, okay, generic provides the ability, so it takes multiple data types, okay. So with respect to the one variable, we can define number of data types and multiple data types. So here, suppose a class can have multiple generics, a class can have multiple generics. So here gdemo1 string, it is a data type. So whenever we can creating object of the class, we can mentioning the data type, we can mentioning the data type. So here I am defining with respect to object reference, I am calling x1 variable. So d1 dot x1 equal to example, because it is a string type. Suppose here I am mentioning int x. So whenever I am defining int x1 variable, suppose I am calling d1 dot x1 equal to example. At the time of compilation, it leads an error because it is a generic. So we can specify a temporary data type. So the data type would be mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. So here I am initializing x1 variable value. So it is example. With the help of object reference, I am calling x1. x1 is the variable, d1 is the reference variable. So example is the string. Next one, here I am printing one SOP statement. Next one, d1 dot x1 equal to d1 dot x1. So here what is x1? x1 holds which data? String type of data. Here x1 variable holds which type of data? String type of data. So what is the data present inside the x1? Example. So whenever I am printing this statement d1 dot x1 equal to d1 dot x1, it returns d1 dot x1 equal to example. d1 dot x1 equal to example. Next, I am printing size. So d1 dot x1 equal to length. So in strings provides one method length. In order to length method, we have to print string length. So here d1 dot x1 equal d1 dot x1 dot length. So here our data can be stored in some variable. So our length. So whenever we can find the length method, we can call the length method. It returns the length of the string. Our data can be stored in some way. So we can store our data has size variable. It returns which type? Integer type, data type. So I am printing size on the console. Here I am writing one more SOP statement. System.out.println size equal to plus size. So what is the size of this example? How many characters are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what at the time of compile time, if you compile and run this program, so it returns d1 dot x1 equal to example and size equal to 7. So it is generic. So generic is an element whose data type could be mentioned by the end user at the time of creating object of the class. A class can have multiple generics. Suppose we have to define a variable with the help of data type. Suppose I am defining a variable int x. At the time of compile time or at the time of runtime, we can give only integer type of values. Suppose we can specify float type of values or string type of values. At the time of compilation, it leads an error. Suppose here I am defining one variable x1. x1 is type of t. T means it is a temporary data type. It is a generic. So whenever compiler finds this statement, so it blindly creates a generic type. So here at the time of compile time, with the help of t, instead of t, we can specify any other data type like string, integer, float, double, or any other data type. It is a generic. Generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. Next, I will explain a class can have multiple generics. I will explain the statements with the help of example here. I will discuss. Next one, class gdemo2. So here I am taking one class gdemo2. So here h. So it is a generic type. It is the syntax of generic. So next one I am defining one variable. Here h1 is variable name. So here H1 is variable name. H1 is variable name. Here H1 is variable name. Next one I am defining one function. So in this function it returns what type of data type? It is a function. So here H1. So H1. So H1 means one argument. So here any function have arguments. H1 is the argument. So it have some return type, H return type. Because we can't specify some particular data type. So if you don't specify particular type of data type at the time of compilation type, you can specify any valid data type. So here, so what is the body of this function one? Here our instance variable and local to the constructor both are same. So we can differentiate by using this one. This H1 equal to H1. Here left hand side is instance variable. H1 is local to the constructor. Right hand side is H1 to the constructor. After that H1 dot toString method. toString method will return a string representation of the given string. So already I told you in the strings concept what is the functionality of toString method. toString method returns the string representation of the string. So after that I am printing system.out.println H1. Here I am closing function body and method body. Next I am taking one more class generic demo2. So after that I am defining main method. I am creating object of the class. So here it is a generic type. A class can have multiple generics. 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 So here this statement means it is one generic. Next one, this statement means it is one more generic. A class can have multiple generics. So here by default, so what is the type of this H1? It is a temporary data type. It is a generic type. At the time of compile time, whenever object of the class is created, we can mention the data type, because generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user. So here whose data type would be mentioned by the user. So in this generic statement, what is the data type? Integer. So in this generic statement, what is the data type? String. Because a class can have multiple generics, it is an element whose data type mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. Here I am creating object of the class gdemo2 integer. Next one, it is a reference variable new gdemo2 integer. It is the constructor. So I am printing. So it is a integer. So I'm calling with the help of object reference. I am calling function 13. So 13 is the integer type. After that I am creating one more object, because a class can have multiple generics. It is our generics program. So gdemo2 string. So here what is the data type? String. Here what is the data type? String. Suppose I am defining int h1 means only integer type is possible. Suppose I am defining h1 means it is a temporary data. Whenever JVM finds this one, it blindly creates a generic type. So it is a temporary data type which holds multiple data types at the time of compilation. So because we can mentioning a data type at the time of creating object of the class. So because it is an element whose data type mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. So here after that I am creating one more generic statement. Here gdemo2 string. So next one d2 equal to new gdemo2 string. So next one we can creating object of generic class. After that d1 dot function 1. So here our function 1 is there. It is an instance method. So by using object reference we can call the instance method d1 dot function 1 raw. d1 dot function 1 raw, because it accepts string type of data. So whenever I am creating object of integer class, it accepts integer type of data. After that I am printing SOP statement. So here d2 dot h1 dot caret of 1. So here already you know that caret method returns the so caret method. So it is 1 means index value. So caret method returns particular index value on the string. So if you compile and run this program, what is the output we have getting? So here d1 dot function 1 13. So first it prints 13. Next one, so system.out.println first d1 dot function 1 raw. Next it prints raw. Next after that it in the long string it prints caret of 1. So here string index starting from 0, 1, 2. So caret method returns a particular index value on the string. It prints here on the console. It is nothing but generics. Okay, generic is an element whose data type would be mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. So we can creating object of the class without knowing the reference of one data type. So we can simply creating object. We can simply creating object of the class. We can simply creating an object of the class. Whenever we can creating object of the class. Suppose generic is an element whose data type mentioned by the user at the time of creating object of the class. With generic, a class can have multiple generics. Whenever compiler finds this one, so it creates a generic type. A class can have multiple generics. A class can have multiple generics. Okay. Thank you everyone. Next one. Next concept, object class. Next concept, object class. So in the inheritance relationship, object is the superclass for every class. Object is the superclass for every class. Suppose if a class does not extend any other class, by default it extends the object class. Suppose one class is there. Class A. Class A. So this class does not get extended any other class. By default it extends the object class. By default it extends the object class. Here A is the subclass. Here A is the subclass. Object is the superclass. Here A is the subclass and object is the superclass. One class does not extend any other class. By default it extends the object class. Object is the superclass. Object is the root class for every class. Suppose one class extends the class. Suppose class A extends B. Class A extends B. So here A is the subclass. Already you know that here A is the subclass. A is the subclass and B is the superclass. A is the subclass and B is the superclass. B is the superclass. And also this class extended by object class. And also this class also extended by the object class. Here let us see the scenario. So here B is the superclass. A is the subclass. A is the subclass, B is the superclass, and B extends which class? Object. B is derived from which class? Object. So in this one, so object is a root class. Object is a root class for every class. So here B is so B is derived from object class, A is derived from B. So a class does not get extended any other class. By default the class extends the object class. Object is the base class. Object is the root class in Java hierarchy. So everything that is derived from object class. So here object is a base class. Object is a superclass for all the classes. So here object class is present in Java. Every class is a part of package. In Java every class is a part of package. Every class is defined some named package. So in Java every class is defined by some named package. Here object is a class. The class is present in which package? Lang package. Lang is a default package. Lang is a default package. So we need not explicitly import the Lang package because so every Java program, simple Java program also, suppose if you want to print some string on the console, that simple Java program, 2 or 3 lines of program also, it depends upon the Lang package. It depends upon the Lang package. Suppose if you want to develop any basic Java program also, if you want to develop any basic Java program, required classes and interfaces present in Lang package. So every Java program directly or indirectly depends on the Lang package. That's why Java people makes, so it is a default package. Users need not explicitly import the Lang package because Lang is the default package. So in an interview point of view, so this concept is very helpful. So in future interviewer will ask, so what is the default package in Java? So you can tell in Java, java.lang package is the default package. So in suppose if you want to develop any basic Java program also, it depends upon the Lang package. For example, in our program we can use string class in the main method and system class. These two are the classes. These two classes present in Lang package. So that's why Java people makes Lang as the default package. We need not explicitly declare the Lang package. So here our concept is object class. Object class is present in which package? Lang package. Here, next one. Object class is implicitly imported into our source code because it is a Lang package. We need not explicitly import the Lang package because it is a default package. So here it also implicitly imported into every Java program. So it is also imported into every Java program. So it's simple Java program also, it depends upon the simple Java program also, it depends upon the object class. Suppose if you want to develop, if you want to print hello on the console. So here I am writing one program. So class simple. So class simple. Next one main method. So I am defining main method. So class simple, I am defining main method. Already you know that main method have three keywords: public static void main, string aux array. Public static void main, string aux array. After that, I am writing one system.out.println statement. So system.out.println statement. Suppose I want to print welcome on the console. So welcome. So this simple Java program also, it depends upon the lang package. Here string is a class, system is a class. So here welcome, it is a class, it is a string. So here simple Java program also 3 times will depend upon the lang package. That's why Java people makes lang as a default package. So it automatically available in every Java program. It automatically available in every Java program. Even simple program also, it depends upon the lang package. It depends upon the lang package. So here object class reference. Suppose object class reference can store any reference of any object, because object is the super class for every class, object is the root class, object is the base class. That's why object class reference can store any reference of any object, any reference of the any object. This means that a reference variable of type object can refer to any object of any other class, because object is a root class, object is a base class. So with the help of object class reference, so we can call any methods. So what are the methods present in object class? So these object class methods we can call as any object reference. Suppose here I am creating object of simple class, simple s equal to new simple. With the help of these simple class object reference also I am calling what are the methods present in object class, because it is a base class. Every program, so object class is available because it implicitly, so it extends the object class. So every Java program, a class does not get extended any other class, it extends the object class automatically. So in this way we can simply say every class we can simply use what are the methods present in object class. So we can see, so what are the methods present in object class. First one, booleans equals method. So what the first method is equals method. Already I told you in the strings concept equals method. So it have an argument object, it is object type, it returns a boolean value. Boolean means either true or false. So here what is the importance of this method? So this method compares the references of two objects and they are equal, it returns true, otherwise it returns false. Suppose it returns true objects. For example, I am creating two string objects, string s1 equal to hello, string s2 equal to hello. So here in Java, strings can be created in 2 ways, by using double quotes and by using new operator. So here I am creating object of the string class by using double quotes, string s1 equal to hello and string s2 equal to hello. After that I want to check if both the strings are equal or not. So here I am using which method? Equals method. So equal method is present in which class? Object class. So here I am comparing system.out.println s1 dot equals s2. s1 dot equals of s2. Already s1 dot equals of s2. s1 dot equals of s2. So here I am comparing. So both the strings are already I creating string objects. String s1 equal to hello, string s2 equal to hello. Next after that I am checking s1 dot equals s2. So when I am checking both two objects data is same or not, by using which method? Equals method. If the two strings object data is both are equal, then it returns the true, otherwise it returns false. Suppose here I am creating two objects, string s1 equal to hello, string s2 equal to hello. If both the two objects string data is equal, it returns the true, otherwise it returns false. Next method is toString method. toString method returns string representation of the given object. toString is a method, it returns string representation of the given object. This method also already I discussed in the strings concept. Next one, getClass method. Sometimes we want to know what is the class name. Sometimes we want to know what is the class name in our programming language. So this method gives an object that contains the name of the class. that contains the name of the class to which an object belongs. Obtains the class of object at runtime. So at the runtime, we want to know what is the name of the particular class. In this situation, get class method will help us to find the class name. So next one, hash code method. Hash code is a method. It is present in which class? Object class. It returns the address of the given object. Suppose here I am creating two objects. So here suppose I am defining one variable string s1 equal to hello. After that I am printing S1 holds which address in our memory space I want to know. So by using hash code method, hash code returns the address of the given object. So it contains some decimal values. It contains some hash code values. Okay, so some hash code values. Suppose I am defining string S1 equal to hello. After that, I am printing one SOP statement. S1 dot hash code. I am calling hash code. So I want to know S1 stores which address space in our memory. So whenever I am calling S1 dot hash code method, so hash code, it is object class. Object is a root class for every class. Object class is available. So we can simply accessing with the help of object reference, we can accessing hash code method S1 dot hash code. Whenever I am calling hash code method with the help of object reference, it returns the address of the given object. Next one, notify all and wait methods. So these three methods I will discuss in inter-thread communication. So in the thread communication, we can use notify all and wait method. In inter-thread communication in threads concept. After that, you have cloning. Cloning also I will discuss in future concepts. Next one, finalize method. So already finalize method. It is where we can use finalize method means we can using in garbage collector concept. Already I told you garbage collector concept. So garbage collector collects the user memory space and improve the performance of our application. So it clean up all the unused memory spaces. So it acts as a system background and it cleans unused memory spaces in our program, in our application. In these situations, we can use finalize method. So it clean up all the resources. What are the resources open in current program? Suppose one object is no longer used, it automatically deletes unused memory space and it provides the space for another application. So other situation we can use finalizer method. We can clean up all the resources. We can clean up all the objects. In these situations we can use finalizer methods. So it called before unused object is recycled. So whenever one object is no longer then used, it automatically deallocates the memory and it allocates the memory for another application. So when that situations we can use finalizer method. Whenever we can clean up the objects, we can use finalize method. These all are the methods present in which class? Object class. These all are the methods present in object class. Object is a root class. Object is a base class. It is available in every Java program. So suppose one class cannot get extended any other class, by default it extends the object class. Object is a root class. Object is a base class. By default every Java program have object class. We can accessing these all methods in every Java program with the help of object reference. So it is nothing but object class. Thank you everyone.